The DF-31 family DONGFENG-31 represents a significant component of the People's Republic of China's land-based strategic strike forces. Developed as a road-mobile, solid-propellant intercontinental ballistic missile ICBM, the DF-31 series was conceived to provide a survivable, flexible deterrent that can be dispersed, hidden, and moved rapidly, reducing vulnerability to a first strike compared with fixed silo forces. Two prominent variants in public reporting are the DF-31A and the later DF-31AG, both of which demonstrate China's emphasis on mobility, rapid reaction and gradual modernization of its nuclear triad. Design and basic characteristics, high level. The DF-31 family is a three-stage, solid-fuel design, optimized for quick launch readiness and long logistic life. Solid propellant confers several operational advantages over liquid fuel missiles: reduced maintenance, faster launch preparation and simpler logistics. The DF-31A extended the range and payload options over the baseline DF-31, enabling intercontinental reach from Chinese territory to cover large swaths of the globe. Open-source technical summaries typically attribute an estimated range in the 7,000–11,000 km class for DF-31A, depending on payload mass and trajectory, sufficient to hold at range targets in Europe, Asia and parts of North America under certain basing assumptions. The DF-31AG is widely described in defense literature as an upgraded, more modern variant. AG has been interpreted by analysts as indicating an advanced, road-mobile configuration. Some reports suggest the suffix implies an advanced or improved guidance suite and launcher integration. Key reported improvements include enhanced accuracy via modernized guidance systems, inertial navigation supplemented by satellite navigation, improved survivability features, and a canisterized transport launch unit that increases mobility and reduces launch preparation time. Canisterization also simplifies storage, protects the missile during movement, and enables rapid, cold launch capability. Mobility and basing. Mobility is the defining operational concept for the DF-31 family. Road mobile transporter erector launcher telephone vehicles, heavy, multi-axle trucks, carry the missiles and permit relocation across a network of highways, purpose-built service roads and staging areas. Mobility allows the missile force to avoid detection and targeting by adversary intelligence and precision strike assets, complicating preemptive targeting calculations. The DF-31 variants are designed to operate dispersedly. Individual TELs may be deployed in remote garrisons, forested regions, or among civilian traffic patterns to enhance concealment. Canisterized launchers, where the missile remains sealed inside a launch canister until firing, are especially important. Canister launch systems protect the missile from environmental stress, permit long-term storage in the field with lower maintenance needs, and allow for a shorter transition from transport to launch. This increases the survivability and responsiveness of the force. Guidance, accuracy and payload. Public analytic sources indicate that the DF-31A AG incorporate modern guidance suites that improve circular error probable (CEP) compared with earlier generations. The integration of inertial navigation systems INS with satellite navigation, e.g., BETO, reduces positional drift and enhances strike precision, particularly for long-range trajectories. Reported CEP figures vary widely in open sources. Precise numbers are often classified or estimated. Improved accuracy not only expands target sets but reduces the required warhead yield for strategic effects. Warhead options are believed to include single warheads as well as multiple re-entry vehicle (MRV) configurations in some derivative missiles, though whether DF-31A AG deploy multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles is debated in open literature. The political and strategic effects of payload choices are significant. MIRV capability multiplies target coverage and complicates missile defense interception, while single warheads simplify control and verification. Strategic role and doctrine. The DF-31A AG supports China's deterrence posture by emphasizing survivability, credible second strike capability, and the ability to impose unacceptable costs in retaliation. Road mobility and concealment increase the likelihood that a retaliatory force would survive an adversary's initial strike, which is a cornerstone of secure deterrence. Historically, Chinese strategic doctrine has emphasized minimum deterrence and a no-first-use policy. However, Modernization of delivery systems such as the DF-31 family signals Beijing's desire to strengthen the credibility and flexibility of its nuclear deterrent amid evolving regional and global security dynamics. By fielding mobile ICBMs, China reduces reliance on fixed silos, which are easier to detect, track and target, and strengthens the survivability of its nuclear force. The DF-31AG complements other elements of China's strategic forces, including submarine-launched ballistic missiles (SLBMs) and air-delivered systems, contributing to a more resilient and diverse triad. Command, control and survivability. Ensuring robust command and control (C2) over mobile launchers is a complicated technical and organizational task. Mobile systems require secure, hardened communications and reliable authentication mechanisms to avoid accidental or unauthorized launches while maintaining the ability to receive launch orders under duress. Modernization programs often invest heavily in survivable communication networks, redundant channels, satellite, airborne relay, fiber where possible, and cryptographic protections. For the DF-31 series, reported upgrades to communications and control infrastructure improve responsiveness and reduce vulnerability to cyber or electronic disruption. Survivability is not only technical but also operational. Dispersal, frequent movement, use of decoys and false signatures, and integration with civilian infrastructure are tactics to complicate adversary targeting. Training, readiness cycles and realistic exercises further ensure mobile crews can operate under crisis conditions. Regional and international implications. The deployment and modernization of the DF-31 family has consequences for regional stability and arms control dynamics. For neighboring states and major powers, a more accurate, survivable Chinese ICBM force affects nuclear calculations, from deterrent stability to missile defense planning. Countries that view China as a strategic competitor may respond by revising force posture, investing in ballistic missile defenses, or expanding their own strike capabilities. At the same time, transparent dialogue on nuclear doctrines, restraint in deployment, and arms control confidence-building measures could reduce risks. However, historical mistrust, shifting geostrategic priorities and technological advances complicate arms control prospects. Unlike Cold War US-Soviet frameworks, multilateral agreements involving China, the United States, Russia and other nuclear powers face both political and technical hurdles. Countermeasures and missile defense. Modern missile defense systems create pressures on strategic planners. Improvements in accuracy, mobility and deployment density seek to overcome or complicate missile defense interception. Techniques such as decoys, penetration aids, and salvo launches are intended to saturate or confuse interceptors. Conversely, advanced sensor networks, integrated air and missile defense architectures, and interceptors aim to degrade the effectiveness of long-range ballistic threats. The DF-31AG's mobility and potential use of countermeasures underscore the cat-and-mouse dynamic between strike and defense capabilities. Proliferation and export considerations. There is no open evidence that China exports ICBMs like the DF-31AG. Technology transfer of strategic missile systems is constrained by international norms, non-proliferation regimes and national security considerations. Nevertheless, the diffusion of missile technologies, especially in propulsion, guidance, and materials, remains a global concern that shapes export controls and multilateral diplomacy. Public reporting and uncertainty. It's important to note that much publicly available information about the DF-31 family comes from open-source intelligence, satellite imagery analysis, defense reporting and official statements that are selective by necessity. Exact ranges, SEPs, warhead configurations, and deployment numbers are frequently estimates and subject to revision as new data emerges. Analysts must therefore treat public figures with appropriate caution and consider multiple sources. Conclusion. The DF-31A and DF-31AG symbolize a clear trajectory in China's strategic modernization, toward mobile, survivable, and more accurate land-based deterrents that complement sea and air-based nuclear forces. Their road-mobile, canisterized design choices reflect a doctrinal emphasis on survivability and credible second strike capability. Strategically, these systems complicate adversary targeting, influence regional deterrence dynamics, and interact with missile defense developments. From a policy perspective, their existence underscores the continuing relevance of strategic stability dialogues, arms control considerations and measures to reduce the risk of miscalculation in a complex security environment.